Artery Gear is a new global gacha game with a turn-based battle system. Basically, you set up a squad of 4 units, and when playing manually, you pick the attack you want to use out of 2 or 3 choices depending on the character. Very akin to old school Final Fantasy, think 1 to 9 or Dragon Quest if that was your jam. In terms to similar gacha games, a lot of people compare it to Epic 7, but since I don't have a ton of experience with that, I would say it is similar to Dislike, a title that is also newish and I actually have played. I now want to talk about characters for a bit. Right off the bat, the game only has mecha girls. No males, no anything besides mecha girls. They are technically robots, but those are just junk units you use to power up your mecha girls. Now depending on who you are, this could be a plus or a minus. For me, I'm okay with it as I play other games, so variety isn't a big issue for me. When it comes to character design though, they are on point with a few I like, and surprisingly the MC is my favourite. Another cool thing about this game is that the lowest rarity has some of the best characters, even for meta players. And I always enjoy a game that shows respect to all of the collectible characters. Since I've talked about the 2 main points of the game, the battle system and the characters you can collect, let me now talk about the endgame loot, which I've already reached before the end of day 6. What you will be doing from day to day when there are no events are logging in and farming to boost up your characters, which will mostly be gear farming, but for new characters you might need to farm power up materials. It isn't a bad loot, but it isn't for everyone. And lastly, I just want to touch on the overall quality of the game. If we excuse the bad translation in parts, especially the final chapter, this is a highly polished game. There is minimal loading, the art direction is beautiful, the ultimates are spectacular, and the battery life is amazing. When running at 30 FPS with HDR off, which was the default for my phone, I was playing for like 4 to 5 hours, and not even then was hitting low battery. For comparison, most games drain my battery in 2 to 4 hours. Of course you can bump that up to 60 FPS and HDR on, but I have no idea what that would do to the battery. But, and this is one of my favorite things about this game, it works beautifully on the M1 Mac machines. So I can boot it up on my Mac Mini as I type this out and enjoy the 60 FPS HDR effects while I work, and then switch back to my phone when I'm done. I would be remiss not to mention that this game has some insane quality of life. The auto is customizable to a very tight degree that I've never seen in games of these types. You can tell each unit which skills to use, what priority to use them, and who to target, which makes the team building extra fun for me at least. And even though the game has a great battery life, it also has an offline farming mode in the place of my much beloved sweep function. This works for me though, as I can fully close the game and go and do or play something else. As for things that aren't of the highest quality, the translation as I mentioned is decent, but gets pretty bad in the final 2 chapters. And some things are backwards, like skills on gear that are locked actually says unlocked, which is confusing at first, as the game actually is telling you that the skill is locked and you need to unlock it. And the only other minor complaint I have for now is that the music isn't to my taste. It isn't bad, but a lot of the games I've played recently had some banger tracks, and none in Artery Gear stand out to me as yet. That's all for now. Expect more videos going forward for this game as I really do enjoy it at the moment. Until next time.